Make no mistake, it is a huge deal that Democrats have won the House of Representatives, and it's a huge blow to President Trump. Disregard whatever you're hearing about the size of the blue wave or whatever the president is tweeting. This is a seismic shift in Congress that we haven't seen in 8 years. And a Democratic-controlled House can have a whole lot of impact on the next 2 years of Trump's presidency in 2 major ways. Here's how. Number 1, a Democratic majority House will investigate the many, many scandals of the Trump presidency. Let's be real. The Trump train has been rolling on unabated, with Republicans controlling both chambers of Congress, despite whatever heroic tweets some of them like to fire off about morally opposing the corruption that we've been seeing. Democrats have already promised a number of investigations into this administration with a majority in the House, and they now have the authority to follow through on that. As Vox put it simply, Democrats now have the power to make Trump's life hell. Here's a list of what House Dems have already signaled they want to investigate. Trump's tax returns. We could actually see them, or at least House Dems could demand to see them and not let Trump get away with that whole, I didn't feel like releasing them like every other president has ever. Trump's other financial dealings, including the rest of the Trump family and organization. Trump sending military troops to the border as a political stunt before the midterms. The family separation crisis. Brett Kavanaugh. Rep. Jerry Nadler, who will now be chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, said Democrats will open an investigation into sexual misconduct allegations against Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh since the Senate and the FBI totally botched the job. And the Russia investigation. Representative Adam Schiff, who will now be chairman on the House Intelligence Committee, has said he wants to reopen the House Russia investigation, which, if you remember, was unceremoniously shut down by Trump ally and all-around shady character Devin Nunes. There's a lot more that we still have to answer there. And we haven't even gotten into all the scandals of the Trump cabinet members, from Wilbur Ross, who lied to Congress about Republican plans to change the census, to Ryan Zink, whose own agency just referred him to the Justice Department for investigation. The other crucial part of these House investigations is that Trump can't just ignore them and hope that they go away. Since House Dems will have majorities on some of these key committees, they have subpoena power to demand documents or in-person testimony. It will cost the Trump team a lot of time and effort and make them have to answer some difficult questions. They might even tell the truth. Now, when you learn about our government being set up as a system of checks and balances in your civic classes, this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. This is a major, major check on a Trump presidency. And seeing as he's busted just about every political norm that there's ever been, House Dems now have a chance to try and rein some of that in. Or, at the very least, try to inject little things like ethics back into the national discussion in a way that matters. But that's not all. Let me quickly get to number 2. Democrats now also control the legislative agenda in the House. In addition to actual oversight, Democrats can introduce any number of bills on issues that are key to them, and they plan on it. Voting rights, healthcare, immigration reform, tax cuts. These are all things that Democratic leaders have signaled they plan to move on very quickly. Given that Republicans still control the Senate, it's unlikely that the House will pass much legislation that will make it to Trump's desk that he will actually sign, but it is a major advantage for Dems going into 2020. They can campaign on everything that they try to pass in the next 2 years and talk about Republican obstructionism. And they'll be able to effectively roadblock Trump's own legislative agenda, which includes funding for a border wall with Mexico, undoing the Affordable Care Act, and making cuts to programs like Medicaid and Social Security. The last time that we had this kind of split in government was back in 2010, when Republicans took control of the House of Representatives under President Obama, while Democrats maintained control of the Senate. So you had a Republican House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic president. This was the year that Tea Party Republicans took over the House. Remember them and how much they obstructed President Obama's agenda? That's the kind of power House Democrats now have against President Trump, and that is no small feat. That's real power that no amount of propaganda or lying can undermine. And we'll be watching.